phrasal verbs until we finished it.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So now let's begin. Um, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to read or do you prefer to continue with um do you prefer to continue with grammar? Now you can choose.
I prefer to read.
Yes?
Yeah, but I don't know what about Mildred. I don't know. I think that both are very helpful.
Okay.
So, what do you prefer?
Okay, let's read today. Let's continue reading. Let's figure out a little bit more about the story. Okay, I am signing in and I am, give me just 1 second. I am opening it because you know I need to open it. Mhm. It's because I erased all the cookies and the cache and everything because my Chrome was doing strange things. So I erased all the cookies and everything is now like from zero. Okay, so I need to begin everything again. Okay, Oliver, please, we have already seen about um well, you remember this? We were talking about the workhouse, yes?
Yes.
And how Oliver Twist uh, was born, how he grew up, yes?
Yes.
And then Oliver gets a job and runs away. What do you remember about this, Mariluz?
Uh, and I missed that class, but I heard it. Um, and And there are a little things that I didn't understand. Um, his mother died at the birth, yeah, of Oliver, but we don't know why, really.
We never knew why. We only know that she was on the street. She
Huh?
was like fainted. She had fainted, and somebody
Okay.
took her into the workhouse, and somebody called a doctor. And we don't know right now who that woman was.
Okay.
We will know by the end of the book.
Uh, okay. And then
We will know.
Oliver grew in the workhouse,
He
but
grew up.
grew
Grew
up.
up. It's a phrasal verb.
Okay. Okay. Oliver grew up in the workhouse, and I remember a scene when a children,
A
other
child.
children, a child, yeah, sorry, when a child asked Oliver ask for more food, and the person in charge, I don't remember the name.
I think it was Mr. Bumble.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Bumble thought that Oliver was a problem because he was kind of making mm, 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 I don't know how do you say a Leo or
A mess, but he was daring, atrevido. He was
Yeah.
daring and brave. Because to do
Yeah.
that, you need to be brave if you know that you would be punished.
Yeah. And he decided to sell him.
To sell him.
To sell him. And that's that I remember, I think.
Okay, that's what you remember. That's wonderful. Okay, Mildred, do you remember anything else about this?
No, actually, that's a great resume.
A summary.
Summary, a great summary of what we have been reading.
Exactly. So, I don't think we have read this one. Yes, Oliver gets a job and runs away.
No.
No.
Only chapter 2. Chapter 1.
Only chapter 1. Okay. So today we're going to read. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let me see if I am doing this correctly. You know something? It is supposed that this reads the book. That was its function, but I mean aloud, but it doesn't work. So we need to use it like this. Okay, so you're going to read. Mildred, can you begin reading chapter 2?
Yes. Oliver was working.
Here. Oliver gets a job, the title.
Okay. Oliver gets a job and runs away. Oliver was woken in the morning by a loud kicking on the outside of the undertaker's shop door. Open the door, will you? A voice shouted. I will at once, sir, replied Oliver, getting up. I suppose you're the new boy, said the voice. How old are you? 10, sir, replied Oliver. Can you move?
There.
I'll beat you when I get in. Just you wait and see, said the voice. People had beaten Oliver so often that he was certain this was true. His hands was shaking and he turned the key in the lock. A young man with long thin legs was sitting in front of the shop, eating a piece of bread and butter. Did you want a coffin, sir? Oliver asked the young man. At this, the young man looked very cross. Don't you know who I am? I'm Mr. Noah Claypool, and you work for me. Open the shop, you lazy young fool. With this, Mr. Claypool kicked Oliver and entered the shop with his head held high.
Okay.
Oliver had...
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's check the vocabulary. Okay, so new words. What are the new words? Words that you don't know.
Kicking is
yes, but with your feet.
okay, patada. Okay.
Beat? I don't know.
Kicking is to hit someone, but with your feet.
Yes, but beat, I don't know what does it
Your
mean.
feet?
No, where we said, I'll beat
Beat.
you when I get in.
Uh-huh. Yes, he said that. I'll beat. Beat is
Beat is like give bueno golpear,
yes,
and kicking it's como patada.
patear.
Patear.
Sí, Juan, pateada, una patada. Okay. So, I'll beat you when I get in. Just wait and see.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
They consider their workers like slaves.
Yeah.
They weren't workers, they were kind of slaves. Okay?
Yeah.
So, the next one. Another word you don't know? What is a coffin?
Coffin is I don't know, but no, wait, no, it's
We, I remember that you reviewed that. It's the box where the
where the dead people live.
bed
Exactly.
is inside the big box. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's a coffin.
Yeah.
Okay?
Um,
Another one?
mm,
Health is
yeah.
Which one?
es como con su cabeza en alto, ¿no?
Ajá.
Health.
Sostenida en alto.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Okay. Mariluz.
Oliver had been on the undertakings for about a month when Mr. Sowerberry had an idea. About young Twist, my dear, he said to his wife. He's a very
Give me a second.
He's a very good looking boy, and his sad face would be good for business, you know. So it was agreed that Oliver should go out with his master, Mr. Sowerberry, on his business. Oliver, put on your cap and come with me, announced Mr. Sowerberry one day.
Sorry.
Noah?
Sorry. Uh-huh.
Noah, you must look after the shop. Noah's face was very cross. Mr. Sowerberry took Oliver to a miserable part of town where four men brought a coffin out of a house, lifted it onto their shoulders, and walked towards the church. Mr. Sowerberry led the way, and Oliver, whose legs were not as long as his master's, had to run by his side. A poor old woman and a man followed quietly behind the coffin. When they reached the church, the coffin was put down in the darkest, poorest corner of the churchyard. Cold rain began to fall as they waited for the priest to arrive. Priest, yes, to the priest to arrive. And the old woman and the man waited. And then And the old woman and the man waited patiently, staring sadly at the coffin. Finally, the priest arrived, spoke some words in a hurry, and in 4 minutes was gone. Well, Oliver, said Mr. Sowerberry as they walked home afterwards. How did you like it? Oliver did not reply at once. Not very much, sir, he said at last. Ah, you'll get used to it in time, said Mr. Sowerberry. It's nothing when you're used to it, my boy. It was a very sickly time of year, so the sales of coffins went up. In a very short time, Oliver got much experience
Give me a second.
the undertaker's business. While Oliver went out with Mr. Sowerberry dressed in a new black hat and carrying a black stick, Noah always remained in the shop. Mr. Sowerberry was friendly to Oliver, but Noah behaved worse than ever towards Oliver now that he had reason to be jealous.
Thank you. Continue, Mildred.
Yes. One day, Oliver and Noah were down in the kitchen. Noah was pacing the time before dinner, passing, passing the time before dinner by trying to make Oliver cry. He put his feet on the table, pulled Oliver's hair and ears, and called him names, but none of this made Oliver cry. So Noah tried something different. How's your mother? Asked Noah. She's dead, replied Oliver. Don't you dare say anything about her to me. Oliver's face went pink and he started to breathe heavily. Noah was certain he was about to cry. What did she die of? He asked. Of a broken heart, they told me, replied Oliver. Now don't say anything more about her. No, 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 don't say anything more about her. He warned Noah. Well, I'm sorry for you, but you ought to know that your mother was a bad woman, said Noah. And it's much better that she died when she did. If she hadn't, she'd be in prison, or more likely, she'd be hanged. Oliver jumped to his feet, knocking over his chair. He took Noah by the throat and using all his strength, knocked Noah to the ground. A minute before, Oliver had looked a quiet and gentle, but what? Oliver had looked quiet and gentle, but what Noah had said about his mother had made him red with rage.
Okay. So now you are going to try to make a very short summary. I mean, very short. Okay, I'm going to give you, let's say, 5 minutes to write a very short summary about what you have read.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Okay, so So I'm going to share my counter. I'm going to give you 4 minutes because about a minute has passed. So I'm going to, oh no, but this, let me see if it has. Yes, it has 4 minutes. Okay, so now time is passing and you need to work. Okay.
Gracias.
Ahorita vengo, voy, están tocando la puerta. Vengo en
Correct,
un
correct.
minutito.
Ready, my dear? Yes? Good.
I'm ready. I only did for renglones. ¿Cómo se dice renglones?
Lines.
I only did for lines or it's more.
Yes, because you have more information. Remember, a summary is about the 30% of the complete text.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Time cover. Okay. So now, everybody, Mariluz, have you finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you read your writing?
Yeah, Oliver was working in, I don't know if it is the correct word because I don't know, but I will tell you. Oliver was working in a shop of coffins, or was it I mean, is it a specific word for that? I don't.
Yes, but in fact, it's a shop of coffee. There are coffee shop. But
Okay.
yes, because the undertaker, the person,
Who prepares the bodies, right?
but in those days, I don't think they prepared the bodies. In fact,
I don't know.
it's the mortuary.
Okay.
The mortuary.
Yes, I
It's
put murder, but I don't
no
know.
murder, no, because that's somebody killing another person. It's a mortuary.
Oh.
And
Okay.
I am not sure they really prepare the bodies, especially well perhaps the rich people would prepare the body, some kind of preparation, but what they are describing is that they are taking the woman, putting in the coffin, taking the coffin
That's
and putting it under the earth, and that's it. It's there is his real business is to sell the coffin. Period.
okay.
Putting the
Okay.
person inside and put it under
Underground.
the ground. That's it.
Okay. Well, I wrote like this. Oliver was working in a shop of coffins. He didn't know who his boss was, but when he did, it was not a good news. Later, because of the sad appearance of Oliver's face, he was forced to work in funerals, making a sad scenes there. The purpose was to make business better. At the place, there was another child who started to be jealous of the situation and tried to hurt Oliver, saying him bad things about her mother.
His
And
mother.
that's it.
His mother, not her mother. His
Sorry
mother.
about his mother. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, the boy doesn't know anything about his mother either. There are some people who know, but now
We
nobody
don't know.
has said anything.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's what I told you. We will know, but later. Okay.
Okay.
Mildred, what?
Yes. I could. Oliver starts working with his boss at selling coffins. And once a boy was jealous and was trying to make Oliver cry, and he didn't make it until he mentioned his mother. And then Oliver get mad and tell him that never mention it again.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay, and now let's go back to the book. Okay, we're going to continue with. Okay, who had the last time, Mildred?
Yeah.
So I guess it's Marilu's turn.
Yeah. He'll murder me, screamed Noah. Help, help. Oliver's gone mad. Mrs. Sowerberry ran into the kitchen. She easily pulled little Oliver off Noah, and she hit Oliver hard in the face. Noah, whose head was at the same height,
Hi.
height?
Hi.
Noah, whose chest was at the same height as the top of Oliver's head, jumped up from the floor and hit Oliver from behind. Then the two of them dragged Oliver to the cellar and locked him in.
Can
And
you
locked,
see? Sorry, locked.
locked,
Can you
yeah,
see?
and locked him
Oliver
in.
was the same. He was a very small So a very small boy.
Yeah,
He wasn't a very small, a very big person. He was a small boy.
yeah,
So and the other one who said he's killing me. He was far bigger and
yeah.
stronger.
When Mr. Sowerberry returned, his wife told him how frightened she and Noah had been of Oliver. That boy nearly killed Noah, and he nearly killed me, Mrs. Sowerberry said to her husband. Mr. Sowerberry unlocked the cellar door. There was blood on Oliver's clothes, and his face was cut. Why did you hit Noah? Mr. Sowerberry asked him. He called my mother names, Oliver answered. Well, everything Noah said about her was true, said Mrs. Sowerberry. It wasn't, it was lies, said Oliver, still angry. Mrs. Sowerberry began to cry. To cry. Husband, how must punish him?
You
She said.
must punish him.
Yeah. Husband, you must punish him, she said.
Thank you, Mildred. Continue.
Mr. Sowerberry always did what his wife told him, so he beat Oliver, but he did not look him up again. It was not until Oliver was alone among the coffins that night that he fell to his knees on the floor and began to cry. He remained like this for a long while, without moving. The candle was burning low when he got to his feet,
Listen.
listened for a moment, and quietly opened the shop door. It was a cold, dark night, and the sky was full of stars. After closing the door, he made a parcel of the few clothes he had and waited patiently for morning. As soon as the first light came, he opened the door again. He looked to the right and to the left, uncertain which way to go. Then he quietly closed the door behind him and walked quickly away. Oliver walked through fields and hid behind hedges, and at 8 o'clock he was 5 miles away from the town. He sat down to rest by the roadside near a sign that told him it was
70 miles.
70 miles to London. Saying the name gave him an idea. London was a great big place, full of people. No one, not even Mr. Bulbum, could find him there. It was the very place for a homeless boy, who could die without someone to help him. He had only one small coin in his pocket, and one shirt and some socks in his parcel. He jumped to his feet and walked on again. Oliver walked 20 miles that day, and he had only a piece of bread,
Dry bread.
on a place of the dry bread to eat and a few cups of water to drink, which he asked for at cottage doors. Um, when night came, he slept under a hedge. The next morning, he was cold and stiff, and so hungry that he spent his only coin on bread in the first village he came.
Village.
Village he came to. His feet hurt terribly, and his legs were weak, but he kept walking. A kind man kept walking. A kind man gave him some bread and cheese, and a poor old lady gave him what little she could. And so very early on the seventh morning, Oliver walked slowly into the little town of Barnet. Just a few miles from London, everywhere was closed, and the street
Closed.
closed,
Closed.
closed, and the street was empty. He sat on a doorstep and watched the sun rise. Some time later, he saw a boy watching him from the other side of the street. Seeing Oliver look up, the boy crossed the street and came over to him.
Thank
Hello, he
you.
said. Okay.
Thank you, Mildred. Continue, Mariluz.
Hello, he said. What are you doing? The boy was about Oliver's age, but he was the strangest looking boy Oliver had ever seen. He had very funny clothes, a man's hat balanced on the top of his head, and a man's long coat which reached his feet. His hands were in his trouser pockets. I'm very hungry and tired, replied Oliver. I walked a long way. I've been walking for 7 days. Up you get and come with me, said the boy. He helped Oliver to his feet and took him into a shop, where he bought him some bread and meat. While Oliver ate, the strange boy watched him carefully. Are you going to London? The boy asked. Yes, said Oliver. Have you got a place to stay or any money? Asked the boy. No, said Oliver. Then you want a place to sleep tonight, said the boy. I'm going to London, and I know a nice old gentleman who lives there. He'll let you stay for nothing. So Oliver went with the boy. I'm Jack Dawkins, but my friends call me the Artful Dodger, the boy told him.
Okay. Oh, how lucky he is.
It was nearly 11 o'clock when they arrived in London. The Artful Dodger led Oliver down a dirty, narrow street full of poor people and terrible smells, and he pushed open a door. They went up some dark and broken stairs and into a dirty room. The walls and the ceiling were black. On the table there was a candle in a bottle and some bread. An old man was cooking sausages on the fire, his ugly face half hidden by untidy red hair. Near the fire, a great number of beautiful and expensive handkerchiefs were hanging up. Several
Rock.
several rock beds
Rock.
made of rough.
F. Rock.
Okay. Several rough beds made of old sacks lay side by side on the floor. Sitting around the table were four or five boys, none older than the I am lost. Not older than the Dodger, smoking and drinking like men. The boys crowded around the Dodgers as he whispered a few words to the old man. This is him, Fagin, my friend, Oliver Twist. The old man smiled, bowed, and took Oliver's hand. We're very glad to see you, Oliver, he said. Dodger, bring the sausages and pull up a chair near the fire to Oliver. You're staring at the pocket handkerchiefs, are you, my dear? He said to Oliver. There are a good many, aren't there? We've just got them out, ready to be washed. That's all. And the old man and all the children laughed
loudly.
Laughed loudly. Oliver ate the sausages he was given, and the old man gave him a drink. Afterwards, Oliver felt himself being lifted gently onto one of the sacks, and he fell into a deep sleep.
Okay, thank you. So now, here, please, Mildred, tell me, what did you understand about this part?
I understand that Oliver meets someone that asked him if he had a place to stay, and then they went into a place that I think that the people were really kind, and they feed him and give him a place to stay.
Okay. But what else did you understand, Mariluz, about? Well, first, why did he leave?
You were asking me all of that. I think that it was just the part where Marilu was reading. But yeah.
Well, it depends when you were reading.
Okay. Then he gone. He decided to leave the other place where he was working because the people were a little bit aggressive with
A
him.
little bit, well,
A
let's
little
be
bit.
beyond that.
And yes, so he took the few things that he had and leave
And
to
left.
London. Left to
Okay,
London.
yes. So, what other details do you remember? Thank you, Mildred. What other details do you remember, Mariluz?
Because of the fact to the other child, the mother of the child said that Oliver was a really bad guy. So the father, I don't remember the strawberry or something like this. Was
Strawberry. But he wasn't his
strawberry.
son.
Sorry?
He wasn't his son or their son. He was a worker, an orphan, just like Oliver.
Okay. I understood that he was their son. Okay, but they decided to support the other child and to punish Oliver. So he decided to go away because of that. And because Mr. Sowerberry beat him or
Yes,
hit him.
bit,
Yeah,
bit.
beat him.
Because hit is like, it could be even accidentally, but beating,
Okay.
that's not an accident.
Okay. He beat him, so he was sad and he decided to go away.
He
Decided to go away. And he has no money, he has no food, only a little quantity of water and one piece of bread. When he found the other child, and I think he has lucky because of that, because the other child um, had people who support him, at least because of food and a place to pass or to stay at night, and they were kind with him. So he could rest and he could eat and he could talk with other people in a good manner, and he could sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, yes, that's what it appears. We will see if that is true.
Okay.
See if that is true. Yes. appearances are never what you can see. They are different. Okay, so well, that was all for today. Okay, this was Oliver Twist, and we couldn't finish the chapter, but we will finish it next class.
Okay.
And well, yes. So reading, we always learn some vocabulary, even if it is just like a little amount of words, but we can learn some vocabulary. And the most important, we practice. We practice the grammar in a context, in a reading. Okay, are you tired, Mildred? You look
Yes,
tired.
a little bit. Today I don't went to my training,
I
but
didn't
because
go to
I didn't go to my training, but I've been having a lot of works and all that stuff.
Oh my. I'm so sorry you are having that amount of work.
Yes, but you know what? When I go to my training, I am with more energy. Even I am tired of my body, my my my
Brain?
my brain is like more smart, or I don't know what happens. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I understand. So thank you, Mildred. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mariluz.
Thank you to you. Good night. See you on Thursday. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.